Some of you may or may not know that I created an app for independent living services agencies. This app was going to be part of my work from home portfolio. It was going to be one of the ways that I was able to support independent living agencies and also help me create residual income. The idea for this app came about because I was working for an independent living services agency who had a lot of reports that they had to write, which is typical with a lot of ILS agencies. I'm going to call it ILS from here on out, Independent Living Services, ILS. And with these reports, it takes a lot of time. And oftentimes I was training other people how to write these reports. And honestly, they're just not a fun thing to do. They're an important thing to do in the field because you are writing daily notes about what a client needs, their goals are, how they're progressing, and things like that. And then you have to take all of those notes and create annual reports, individual service plans, semi-annual reports. Like, you got to take a bunch of information and just make it very concise in telling the details of what happened over a period of time. With these reports at this particular agency, like, you're writing them out, you're training people, some people leave, some people just don't get it, and you'd have to train them over and over again. And like I was saying, it just wasn't a fun process. So I wanted to know if there was an easier way to do it, especially with AI. Some of the things that I knew I would have to be aware of or concerned about and think about is HIPAA and PHI, which is basically making sure that you're protecting people's data. I also didn't really know if other agencies would need something like this. I just knew that this particular agency did. And I knew that if I created this thing, it would make my job a lot easier. So I learned ways to like take out important data and how to use AI so that the consumer or the client's information would be protected. And I was able to create an app so that I can use it at this agency. And the goal was to eventually sell it. In July of 2025, I created my MVP of the app, and that's basically the very basic prototype of an app that you can create. And this was able to let me test it and also show it to a developer so they can have an understanding of what it was that I was trying to do. In September, October timeframe of 2025, I was able to hire my first developer. That ended up being a fail. I'll tell that story another time. And so I ended up hiring another developer that was able to see the app through and was completed in February of 2026. Even though my vision was able to come to fruition once the app was actually done, and as I was working through it and selling it, I was just got more and more worried about HIPAA and PHI because I felt like it wasn't all the way there in protecting people's data, and I didn't want to start putting people's information into the system. I was worried about security issues. I was also concerned that not enough agencies would necessarily need this type of product because I did not do enough market research ahead of time. I knew that one agency could benefit from it, but I didn't test to see if other agencies can benefit from it. And because all of those things came together, I decided to let the app go. Even though I let the app go, I'm really proud of the fact that I was able to think of something, put it together, and finish it. Because I often think of myself as someone who is a quitter, but this showed me that I am not a quitter, that when I really put my mind to something, I can put it together. But sometimes I might just put the cart up before the horse. I think that's what the saying is. And if I could go back and do it again, I think I would have, well, I know I would have done more market research. And I would have also had a better idea of all the expenses that go into having a very compliant HIPAA and PHI type of app. But a lot of times you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes you just have to put one foot in front of the other to really learn the lessons that you need to learn so that when you do it again, or if you do it again, you have a better idea of the questions to ask, the things that you need to do, and how to not only accomplish something, but to see it be successful in the way that you really want it to. So I guess you can just call this a little story time because I feel like at one point I had just put the information out there like, hey, I'm building this app. This app is complete, but I never really gave an update on what's going on with the app now. The app was called the ILS Report Assistant. I'm proud to say that I was able to create it and complete it. And it is not necessarily a chapter that's closed, but it's definitely a lesson that is learned that I will take into my next venture, my next chapter. And I want to encourage anybody out there that has a vision or idea for something to know that there are so many tools out there that you can use. There's so many resources. You don't have to go big picture that like I did, but what I would advise you to do is try to do the very smallest, easiest thing that you can do to begin with. Also making sure that there's an actual need for the thing, or even if you don't know if there's a need for a thing, if you can just do like the most smallest practical thing to test if there's a need for it, then definitely do that. And just see how your vision or your goal comes about. So that's all I have for you in this video. If you have any questions about the tools I use, oh, I didn't talk about that. I used the AI tool to begin with called Lovable. And that was a tool that pretty much helped me put the beginning stages of the app together just by using different prompts. And then after that, I hired a developer on Upwork so that they can actually do all of the real coding and things like that to put the app together. So the front end codings, which is basically what it looks like visually on the computer, on the phone, and then the back end coding, what it all looks like when you put the little pieces together so that the app can work. There's a lot of other things that I learned that you need in between to do that because it takes more than just one or two tools when you put an app together. But it was a very great learning experience overall. So that is really all I have for now. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment about the app process, or if you want to know more about Lovable and how you can put together like your first very basic app using prompts, I'm happy to answer that question because I'm pretty familiar with that. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.